If life is temporary, why do we spend so much of it worrying? It's strange, isn't it? Deep down, we all know nothing lasts. Yet we still live as if everything should. That contradiction is exactly what makes today's question both unsettling and essential. Some people say we should worry because without it, we'd be careless, unprepared. Others believe the opposite, that worry changes nothing and only robs us of peace. Both views carry a hint of truth. But Buddhism, and even the movements of the stars, reveal something deeper. Worry isn't the price we pay for caring. It's the cost of clinging. There's an old story of a farmer who discovered a rare lotus blooming in his pond. Instead of enjoying its beauty, he spent each day in fear. What if it wilted? What if it was stolen? When the petals finally closed, he wept, not because the lotus was gone, but because he had never truly seen it. Isn't that what we do? We guard our health, our relationships, our future, as though they belong to us forever, yet in the process, we miss the joy of actually living them. Here lies the hidden gift of impermanence, because nothing lasts. Every moment matters. The moon wanes, flowers wilt, people we love change, and that's precisely what makes them precious. Worry blinds us, but wisdom wakes us up. And that is the path we'll explore together in this video. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Dharma Veins. Your support is what keeps this channel alive and gives us the strength to bring you more meaningful content every day. Now, let's dive deeper into the truth behind worry, change, and freedom. Everyday worry in modern life. For Dharma Veins, there's a kind of worry that doesn't announce itself with thunder. It slips in quietly, like a draft under the door, a delayed email, a text message left unread, a sudden change in plans. These are not life or death events, yet they trigger the same tightness in the chest as if we were facing a wild animal. This is the paradox of the modern mind. Our ancestors needed hyper-alertness to survive. A rustling in the bushes might have been a predator, so the body leapt into fight or flight. That vigilance once protected life. Today, the same system misfires at every silence, every unknown, every imagined future. The tiger has left the forest, but it lives on in our nervous system. Buddhism calls this resistance to change dukkha, not just suffering, but the dissatisfaction of demanding permanence from what is never permanent. We don't actually suffer because plans shift. We suffer because, somewhere deep inside, we believe they shouldn't. It's like standing on the shore and screaming at the ocean to stop its waves. Astrology, too, mirrors this truth. Think of the moon. Every few nights its face changes, waxing or waning, reminding us that nothing holds a single shape for long. Yet how many of us long for a full moon moment to last forever, whether it's a season of love, a period of success, or even the smooth comfort of routine? To deny the moon's cycle is to deny the very rhythm of the sky. And still, we try. That's where anxiety creeps in. In folk stories, this truth shows up again and again. There's a tale from the Zen tradition. A monk once tried to catch the reflection of the moon in a bucket of water. But no matter how still he held it, ripples would blur the image. His teacher said, "The moon is never caught by buckets, only by open eyes." In other words, peace doesn't come from freezing life into stillness. It comes from seeing change directly and letting it be. Let's pause here, together. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a breath in. Notice the space it creates. Exhale slowly. Whisper inwardly, "This too is passing." Do it again. Breathe in. Feel the rise. Breathe out. Feel the fall. This tiny practice is a reminder. The body itself is a teacher of impermanence. Every breath is born, lingers, and dies away. So when your stomach knots at an unanswered text, or when plans dissolve at the last moment, remember, the discomfort is not proof of weakness. It's simply the nervous system acting out an old script, trying to resist the flow. Both the Buddha and the stars above point to the same lesson. Life is not meant to be held still. We find freedom not by controlling every current, but by learning how to ride them with grace. Impermanence and the trap of clinging. For Dharma Veins, everything changes. Our bodies age, friendships shift, seasons move on, and even the stars overhead burn out and are reborn. This is what Buddhism calls anicca, impermanence. It's not just an idea. It's the very law of existence. Think about the moon. One night it's full and glowing. The next it's waning, then gone, then slowly waxing again. Yet we wish that one luminous night would stay forever. Astrology reminds us of this lesson too. Every planetary transit is a cosmic whisper. Nothing holds still. Not even the heavens. Saturn's slow march through the zodiac. The moon racing across signs every 2.5 days. Each movement says, motion is the essence of the universe. But we humans? We keep begging life to pause. Buddhism teaches that our suffering doesn't come from change itself. It comes from the way we fight against change. The Buddha used a simple image. Imagine holding sand in your palm. The tighter you squeeze, the faster the grains slip through your fingers. This is upadana, clinging. The mind whispers, don't let this go. This must stay mine. But the harder we cling, the more painful the loss feels when it inevitably comes. A folk tale from India speaks of a farmer who found a rare white lotus blooming in his pond. Each morning he would race to see it, terrified that someone might steal it or that it might wither. His joy turned to anxiety. And when the flower finally folded at sunset, he cried out in despair. His neighbor, an old monk, said gently, "You never truly saw the lotus. You only saw your fear of losing it." Let's pause together. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, imagine releasing a handful of sand, letting the grains fall where they may. Again, breathe in, breathe out, let go. Notice how the body softens when you stop gripping so tightly. This is the taste of impermanence, not tragic, but liberating. Astrology offers the same wisdom through cycles. Consider eclipses, those moments when the sun and moon align with the earth, casting shadows across the sky. Ancient people feared them as omens. Today, we see them as cosmic reminders that even light itself can be briefly obscured. Yet the shadow passes, the light returns. No season, no sorrow, no joy stays forever. Clinging is like trying to trap that eclipse, to bottle the shadow or the glow. Impossible. And yet we keep trying, with our relationships, our status, even our own youth. But the truth is simpler and more freeing. We don't own these things. We only borrow them for a time. The Buddha said, "From desire comes sorrow. From desire comes fear. He who is free from desire knows neither sorrow nor fear." Impermanence, then, is not a curse. It's the reminder that freedom comes when we loosen the grip on outcomes, on possessions, on identities. The deeper roots of anxiety, for Dharma veins. Anxiety doesn't always begin in the moment we feel it. It often has roots that stretch back into the past. What Buddhism calls karma, not in the sense of punishment, but as the habits we've rehearsed lifetime after lifetime. If worry was a seed planted long ago, maybe by parents who feared scarcity, maybe by ancestors who survived wars, then each time we give attention to anxious thoughts, we water that seed. Over time, it grows into a forest of unease. The Buddha described this as sankhara, mental formations. Patterns of thought that arise again and again. They carry momentum, just like the moon repeats its phases. We repeat our inner cycles until we wake up enough to interrupt them. Astrology gives us another language for this. Look at Saturn, the great teacher. In astrology, Saturn brings lessons of discipline and boundaries. People often fear its return, especially the Saturn return around age 29 or 58, when life's illusions collapse. Yet what is Saturn really doing? It's showing us where we've clung to permanence, where we've resisted reality. In that sense, Saturn is not cruel, it's karmic. It mirrors back the very patterns we've been avoiding, forcing us to confront them so we can grow. Buddhism calls the blindness that keeps these cycles going avijja, or ignorance. We know, in theory, that everything changes. We've seen leaves fall, bodies age, people we love pass on. Yet emotionally we live as if nothing will ever end. That contradiction is the paradox that fuels anxiety. We know death is inevitable, but we wake each morning as though immortality were guaranteed. A Zen story tells of a monk who was asked, "What is the most important teaching?" He replied, "An inch ahead is darkness." He wasn't trying to frighten, but to remind us, the future is always unknown. Pretending otherwise is what feeds worry. Let's pause for a practice. Close your eyes, breathe in slowly, and as you exhale, whisper silently, "This breath is new. This breath is gone. Notice the rise. Notice the fall. Again. Each inhale appears from nowhere. Each exhale dissolves into nothing. Feel how natural that is. This is impermanence in the body itself, neither tragic nor dramatic. Just the way of life. Even folk tales echo this. In an old European story, a king once asked his sages for a phrase that would always be true. No matter the circumstances, they returned with just 4 words: this too shall pass. The crown, the glory, the grief, the loss, everything moves. Yet we resist that truth. And in resisting, we suffer twice, once from change, and again from refusing it. So the deeper roots of anxiety are not weakness. They're ancient, they're karmic grooves carved into the mind. But Buddhism and the stars both offer the same wisdom. Cycles can be seen. Habits can be changed. When we stop denying impermanence, when we stop pretending we are immune to loss, we begin to taste freedom. Let go, accept, see clearly, for Dharma veins. Let go. Letting go doesn't mean walking away from love. It means releasing the grip that insists. This love must stay mine forever. The Buddha once compared clinging to holding a hot coal. We burn not because fire exists, but because we refuse to release it. In the same way, love held too tightly becomes possession. And possession breeds fear, fear of loss, fear of change. Astrology echoes this truth through Venus, the planet of connection. Venus shows us how we relate. But when it meets Saturn in the skies, relationships are tested. The lesson is not to abandon love, but to love without chains. To let Venus shine freely, without Saturn's grip turning affection into ownership. Accept. Acceptance is not apathy. It's courage. Like standing at the shore when a wave rises, you don't shout at it to stop. You learn how to move with it. The Buddha taught that resisting change is suffering doubled, once from the event itself, and once more from our refusal to let it be. A folk proverb says, "You can't stop the wind, but you can adjust your sails." Astrology mirrors this in the ever-turning lunar cycles. Each new moon begins, each full moon fades. To accept is to live in rhythm with that dance, not to fight it. See clearly. To see clearly is the gift of mindfulness, sati. It means noticing worry as just worry, a passing cloud in the sky of mind. Thoughts are not prophecies, not truths carved in stone. They are weather. You don't have to build a house under every storm cloud. Here, let's pause for a short practice. Close your eyes. Inhale gently. Notice the rise of breath. Exhale slowly. Imagine the release of a burden. Whisper inside, "This is worry. This too will pass." Do it again. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let the mind open like a wide sky, and see the thought drifting by like a small cloud. Nothing to fear. Nothing to cling to. Stories that remind us. In Buddhist lore, there's a tale of a monk who carried a heavy load of wood up a mountain. When asked why he looked exhausted, he answered, "Because I refused to put it down." The truth was simple, he could rest at any moment. If only he would drop the load. Our minds do the same with worries. Astrology, too, tells stories of release. Pluto, planet of transformation, teaches us that death and rebirth are part of life's rhythm. To resist Pluto's cycles is to stay buried. To cooperate is to find renewal. So, let go, accept, see clearly, is not theory. It is a daily practice. It's what frees the heart from the trap of possession. What steadies us when waves come. What clears the sky of the mind. Wisdom and compassion, for Dharma veins. Wisdom. Wisdom in Buddhism, panya, often begins with a very simple question. Will this worry change the outcome? Most of the time, the answer is no, yet we circle the same thoughts, believing that anxiety itself is a form of control. The Buddha taught otherwise. Worry is like circling a burning house, it doesn't put out the fire. It only exhausts you. Astrology teaches a similar lesson through Mercury retrograde. When Mercury appears to move backward, people panic, delayed flights, missed calls, broken laptops. But the wisdom of this cycle isn't in stressing about glitches. It's in asking, what can I actually control right now? Often it's as simple as double-checking details, slowing down, or choosing patience. Wisdom doesn't erase problems, it clarifies where energy is best placed. Compassion. If wisdom is clarity, compassion, metta, is expansion. Anxiety narrows the mind into a prison of my problems, my future, my fears. Compassion opens the doors. The Buddha encouraged loving kindness not just as a moral act, but as a medicine. When you realize others carry their own storms, your own feels less overwhelming. A short practice: close your eyes. Inhale deeply. On the exhale, whisper inwardly, "May I be safe." Inhale again, then offer it outward, "May others be safe." Continue, "May all beings find peace." This is compassion, not abstract, but a widening of the heart that softens the grip of fear. Astrology mirrors this with Jupiter, planet of expansion and generosity. When Jupiter shines, it asks us to think bigger than ourselves, to give beyond the small circle of me. When our worry shrinks us, Jupiter reminds us, life is more than your fear. The balance of both. Wisdom without compassion can be cold. Compassion without wisdom can be naive. Together, they create balance. Think of holding a small bird in your hand. Grip it too tightly, you suffocate it. Hold it too loosely, it flies away. Wisdom tells you how much strength to use. Compassion gives you the willingness to hold with care. There's a Buddhist parable of two monks crossing a river. One carried a woman on his back, though monks were not supposed to. Hours later, the other monk scolded him, "How could you break the rule?" The first replied, "I set her down at the riverbank. Why are you still carrying her?" Wisdom is knowing what to release. Compassion is knowing why you carried in the first place. Even in folk wisdom, the same truth appears. An old African saying goes, "If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together." Our burdens feel lighter when shared, and our courage grows when connected. So wisdom asks the cutting question, will worry change this? And compassion offers the gentle reminder, you're not the only one. Together, they transform anxiety into presence, and presence into peace. Impermanence, the hidden gift, for Dharma veins. We often treat impermanence like an enemy. But what if change is not a thief, but a gift? It's precisely because nothing lasts that everything becomes precious. Think of a flower. If it bloomed forever, we might walk past without noticing. But because it will wither, we pause, we bend down, we breathe in its fragrance more deeply. The same is true with the moon. A full moon night is magical not because it's constant, but because we know by tomorrow, a shadow will begin to eat away its light. Love itself works this way, its tenderness is sharpened by the knowledge that nothing is guaranteed. Astrology speaks the same language. Every season begins when the sun moves into a new sign. Aries ignites spring. Libra ushers in fall. If the sun stayed still, there would be no rhythm, no harvest, no rebirth. Even eclipses remind us, light can vanish, but it always returns. The cosmos doesn't promise permanence, it promises renewal. The Stoics in the West called this memento mori, remember that you will die. Not to fill life with fear, but to strip away illusion and make us live honestly. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." The echo is unmistakable. What Buddhism called anicca, Stoicism called the natural law. The Buddha's last words carried the same reminder, all conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with heedfulness. He didn't leave us despair. He left us clarity. Impermanence is not meant to paralyze, it is meant to awaken. Let's try this in practice. Close your eyes. Take a slow breath. Whisper inwardly, "This moment will not return." Exhale. Feel how that truth doesn't diminish the moment, it deepens it. Again. Inhale. "This is precious." Exhale. "Because it will pass." Notice how the heart softens when you see time as a gift, not a threat. Folk wisdom across cultures carries this insight. In Persia, kings wore rings inscribed with the words, "This too shall pass." They looked at it in triumph, so they wouldn't grow arrogant. They looked at it in grief, so they wouldn't lose hope. Impermanence humbled them, but also gave them balance. Astrologically, Pluto embodies this teaching. It destroys so that life can be reborn. We fear its cycles because they strip us of what we thought was permanent. But Pluto also proves that in endings, there is always the seed of beginning. So impermanence is the great teacher. Because nothing lasts. Every laugh, every sunrise, every ordinary breakfast becomes extraordinary. The hidden gift is urgency. tenderness, gratitude. We don't cling because things stay. We care because they don't. So what have we uncovered today? Worry doesn't protect us. It only binds us. Life was never meant to be permanent. And that's not a curse, it's a hidden blessing. Because everything changes. Every conversation, every sunrise, every ordinary breakfast becomes extraordinary. The lotus is precious because it will close. The moonlight moves us because it will fade. And the people we love matter even more because time insists that nothing stays the same. The Buddha's words still echo, all conditioned things are impermanent. Strive on with heedfulness. The Stoics echoed it too, memento mori, remember death. Not to fear it, but to live honestly. And the stars, through their endless cycles of endings and beginnings, whisper the same truth, that change is the heartbeat of the universe. So when anxiety rises, remember this practice. Pause, breathe, and whisper inwardly, this too will pass. It won't erase the challenge, but it will shift the way you carry it. That small shift is the beginning of freedom. If this journey touched something inside you, I invite you to like, share, and subscribe to Dharma Veins. Your support is not just numbers, it's the energy that allows us to keep creating and sharing these insights with you. And before you go, take one more breath, look around you, and notice one small thing you're grateful for in this fleeting moment. That's where peace begins. Until next time, stay mindful, stay compassionate, and keep walking the path of freedom.